Good morning, second grade. We are now on to lesson 12-6. Our objective today is to add and subtract amounts of money. I think you're going to find this extremely easy, but at the same time, we are going to go slow because there's a few extra things that we need to remember. Math words for today are sum, difference, dimes, and pennies. And we have here this story. Zoe has 56 cents. Aaron has 38 cents. How much money do the girls have in all? Okay, right away we see our key word, in all. In all means we're putting it together. That means that we are adding. I'll just put it out here. Then, here's the second part. What is the difference of the amounts they have? Well, when you see that word, difference, that means that they want to find out how different they are. So we have a small set of money and a larger set of money, and they want to know how much is in between that. What is the difference between this set and that set? So difference would mean subtract. So we have a two-step problem here today. The first question, we're going to add. The second question, we're going to subtract. So let's look at our setup here. It says, first find the sum of the amounts. Before I even begin, let's take a look at the green box that gives us our instruction. It says, add the pennies first. Okay, so this is how we're going to look at it. Our ones place are our pennies, and that totally makes sense. And our dimes, which count by tens, are in our tens place. That totally makes sense. So if you're thinking about it in money, we're adding pennies first and then our dimes. Let's circle that because that is our instruction for today. Add pennies first. Second instructions, then add the dimes. And we'll see that there is some regrouping. That's very normal. You've been doing a lot of that already. So let's take a look. We have cents here. So you notice they don't title it ones and tens. They title it pennies and dimes. So we add our pennies first. 6 plus 8, they say is 14. They put the 4 here with the cent sign. That's very important. And they regroup the 1 over in the dimes column. Now they add the dimes column. 1 plus 5 plus 3 equals 9. You put it together, it's like you have 9 dimes and 4 pennies. And if you put that together, it's like 94 cents. You want to make sure to put the cent sign so that you're not thinking you're talking about something else, like noses or toes or hairpins or shoes. Cents tells us we're talking about money. Then, find the difference of the amounts. Difference means subtract. And here, once again, is what we just talked about. It says when you add and subtract cents, think of the pennies as ones and the dimes as tens. Okay, we knew that now. Now let's look at the instructions before we actually begin. It says subtract the pennies first. All right, that would be the same as saying subtract the ones place first. And then you would subtract the dimes after. It looks like there'll be some regrouping. Let's just stick with this first. Okay, so if we're going to subtract our pennies first, we have 56 minus 38 cents. The problem is in the pennies column, we cannot take 8 cents away from 6 cents. So we have to go over to the dimes and say, hey, can I borrow 1 dime from you? That's the same as borrowing one group of 10. And they say, sure, take one. So now instead of having 5 dimes, they have 4 dimes. And the 10 cents we borrowed, we bring it over here. We regroup. 10 plus 6 is 16. All right, now this is all review, so this is not anything new that I'm telling you, but just to keep it in mind. Okay, so now we are going to subtract, now that we have this all regrouped. 16 minus 8 is 8, And then the dimes, 4 minus 3 is 1. So then that means we have 1 dime and 8 cents together. That makes 18 cents. The difference of the amounts they have is 18 cents. All right, so do you feel ready to find the sum or the difference and regroup where needed? So let's do number 1. Just make sure you look carefully. Are you adding or subtracting? Don't do the wrong thing. Look carefully, okay? So as we're looking at it, this number 1 is adding. So I'm going to say 9 cents plus 7 cents. Can you add that, please? What do you get? And sorry about the coughing. That's Boo-Boo. She's not doing too well today. 9 plus 7. And what did you do with the 6 and the 1? Because it does equal 16. Where did you put everything? Write it down. Hopefully you put the 6 in the pennies and you put the 1 in the dimes column. All right, so then we're going to add dimes next. 1 plus 2 is 3, and we have 36 cents. Next one, number 2, we're going to subtract. Regroup where needed. Looks like we're going to need it because if we remember, our instructions say subtract the pennies first. Can I take 7 away from 0? No. And if you want to, go ahead of me. I'll be right behind you. But if you're not sure, stick with me. All right, so I have to change this 0. That means I'm going to go next door to my dimes and say, can I borrow can I borrow a dime from you, a group of 10? And they'll say, sure. So the 4 becomes a 3, and that dime that I borrowed, I'm going to move it over here. Dime is worth 10 cents, so 10 plus 0 is 10. So I'm just going to put a 1 there to make it easy. 10 minus 7 is 3 cents. 3 minus 2 is 1. So I have 13 cents. Okay, let's move on to the next page. For today, we are only going to be doing the front and back page. I want to take this slow. Make sure that you don't forget any of this, especially moving the cent sign. And we'll see if there's any problems where we have to do maybe a 2-step problem. Okay, instructions say find the sum or difference. Regroup where needed. Number 3, what are we doing? Adding or subtracting? Good, subtracting would be correct. I go to the pennies first. Can I take 6 away from 5? I hope you said no. So go ahead. I'm going to give you a little head start. What are you going to do? I'm going to be right behind you. Okay, I'm going to quietly work while you're doing it, and then we can check and see if we're the same. Are we the same? I hope so. 39 cents. Good. Okay, let's go to number 4. Are we adding or subtracting? The reason why I'm asking this is a few times I have had some students adding when it's supposed to be subtracting and the other way around. So always look carefully. We are adding. Go ahead. I'm going to give you a little head start and I'll be right behind you. All right, do we have the same answer? 70 cents? I hope so. You'll notice I'm not doing a whole lot of instruction here because this is very basic. We have been doing this for a very, very long time. We just haven't done it in the form of money. And the main thing I want you to remember is don't forget that cent sign. They wrote it in for you for these 3, but they're not going to do that in the next ones. Okay, let's do number 5. Go ahead of me. I'm not even going to ask. You just do. All right, I'm going to start now. Do we have the same answer? Yay, good. Okay, now let's do number 6. For number 6, you have a choice. You can use mental math or you can rewrite it on the side. For me, because I want to make sure I get it correct, I'm going to write it on the side. I'm going to give you a few seconds head start. Go. Pause for a second. Did you line up everything correctly? Did you put the pennies in the pennies column and the 8 in the tens column there? Did you remember the cent sign? All right, continue. Are we the same? Yay, I hope so. All right, let's try number 7. I'd like you to show your work. For number 7, I'm not even going to say do mental math. I want to make sure that you really understand this. And to know that, I need to see it. All right, go ahead and start setting it up on the side here. I'll be right behind you. Okay, do we have the same answer? 36 cents? Ooh, I hope so. Good. Okay, let's do number 8, 9, 10. I might have you do some of this on your own, but let's start with 8 and 9, okay? Number 8. Well, first, up here, find the total cost to buy each set of items. Crayons and pencils. Okay, let's see. Crayons. There we go. I'm going to write it down here. Plus pencil. I guess that's a pencil. Don't forget the cent sign. All right, now I'm going to add. Do we have the same answer? I added it down here in my space. I did 55 plus 18. I regrouped. I got 73 cents. Okay. Number 9. I'm going to let you do that one by yourself. Let's go to number 10. Number 10 says Peter buys a roll of tape for 39 cents and a pen for 28 cents. He pays 75 cents. How much change does Peter receive? Ooh, I see a two-step problem here. First, we need to find out how much tape and a pen cost. All right, so let's put that together. Pen and tape. I'm adding. I'm putting a cent sign. I will have some regrouping to do. Go ahead, you know what to do. Okay, I can see that my tape and my pen cost 67 cents. You're welcome to pause if I move too fast, okay? Now, I know that it costs this much, but he pays 75 cents. So he's going to get some money back. That means change. So let's find out how much change he gets back. Do you remember what to do? We could count up or we could subtract. If you want to, let's count up because that's what we're familiar with. Well, no, I think we should subtract because that's what the lesson is about. So let's go ahead and subtract. We're going to take the 75 cents that he paid for minus 67 cents, which is how much it cost. I need to do some regrouping. I'm going to borrow from the 7. There we go. Oh, there you go. He's going to get 8 cents change. I hope you got that too. All right, so now for homework, I want you to do number 9 and number 11. 11 says, how is adding dimes and pennies like adding tens and ones? So when we set it up like this over here, how is pennies like the ones place and dimes like the tens place? How is adding dimes and pennies like adding tens and ones? All right, see you later.